Hi friends. Today I would like to talk to you about our core values and decision making. Decision is a starting point for change and nothing else. We have to be clear about what our values are, what our priorities are, or we end up making sporadic decisions which will make us go to unhelpful directions and unhelpful forks of the road. At times, we have the desire to change in life and will only change when our desire to change becomes greater than our desire to remain the same. We will decide to change in life when we become sick and tired of our outcomes, the results, or consequences we are getting in life. We cannot go on blaming and pointing fingers, blaming our mother and father. They never loved me. Society is bad. Politicians are bad. Leadership is bad. We become empowered in life when we take responsibility for the decisions we are making. We have to decide whether we have to be reactive to things outside of us or we are responding to what is inside of us. If we are not influenced by our own decisions, we are going to be influenced by other people's decisions and we get to choose which road we go down. When you make a decision, problems will inevitably rise, and if we have a framework in place to deal with them, like I mentioned in the previous video, the 5 principles, then it is fine. We may fail or we may succeed, it does not matter. In fact, the 5 steps I mentioned in my previous video based on the book The Skilled Helper by Gerard Hagen, follow them. It need not be in a orderly fashion. You can go back and forth till you feel you have ended with the right decision based on your values. Values underpin every single decision we make. It is always a value-based decision. Values, to a great extent, determine what is we perceive as right or wrong. Those things we value the most, we naturally gravitate towards it. Take two individuals. They have their own lifestyles, their own priorities, their own different ways of doing things. Here they communicate, understand each other, and help each other and see life in an alternative perspective. On one level, there is everything in common, but between the two individuals, there will be a value underpinning their decision to work through problems. And that is what we call connection. It is this connection we strive and want in life. The quality of our life is in some way impacted by the relationships that we keep. In some relationships, we may not see eye to eye, but if two people share the same values, they can prioritize connection. However, at times our own values might conflict. At times we reach this place when it comes to decision making. Should I? Should I not? I must. I must not. I know what I want to do, but I don't want to do this, or whether I can ever do it. We all experience this, don't we? When we have an understanding of our values, we can understand why we say yes to things we say yes to and no to things we say no to. For example, two colleagues are meeting after 10 years. or 20 years. They both interact. One of them was historically not close to the other individual but has continued to historically humoring the other person. He was not completely himself in front of that person in order to keep peace inside the relationship. He knows on some level this person needs him to be the person who he thinks, which is called conditional acceptance. Now they are meeting after around 10 to 20 years and expecting each other to be the same after this long gap. That is naive. This is the problem young people have with their parents. Now, coming back to these two colleagues, one of them starts pointing fingers and states the other is not what he was years before. He has become something else. The person on whom the fingers are pointed to has now to make a choice or to make a decision. He wants connection and he is doing everything in his power to fight for the connection because the other person is not doing it. There are differences here. Here we have to understand unless two people fight for connection, not one. If two people fight for connection at exactly the same time, a point will come where both will have to let go of the other person. So I once more repeat, two people have to fight for connection at exactly the same time. In this case, one has to let go because there is conflicting values, conditional acceptance. The decision has to be made by one of the individuals, maybe the person to whom the fingers are pointed to. Because his colleague is offering his acceptance on the condition that this person confirms that he will be what the other person wants him to be. Though connection is important here, something more valuable also exists. That is authenticity. So here comes the decision making process. Do I choose authenticity or do I choose connection? He'll have to compromise on his own authenticity to get connection. He will now have to think, should I pretend to be someone I am not just to remain in connection? He has the choice on which road to take.